What happens when you set the sort of bar so low and then you improve from that? The standard's here. Where Liverpool and City are, Arsenal are here. What United have got to is there. What United have done is got to here now. So we're still at the base level of, right, they've shown some fight, they look a little bit more organised, they're hanging in there in games. But if you think about what United have done over the last 10 years, these sort of green shoots of recovery that they've displayed at times where they've got decent results and you think, oh, here we go. There's still a long, long way to go. And I don't think Ruben Amorim or the players would say any different. So this is not a time to get carried away. I think it is a time to say, look, it does look like Ruben Amorim's just sort of settled things a little bit in this last couple of weeks. The commitment, the organisation, the consistency of team selection, and that needs to continue now. But they do look a little bit more settled.
We'll get back to Gary in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And also, don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And if you've got something to say, if you think we've missed something, or even if you think we're talking rubbish, please put it in the comments. I read all of the comments. I really enjoy engaging with the viewers, so please, anything at all, put it in the comments. Now, in this video, Gary's going to be talking about whether or not he thinks Manchester United has turned a corner or not. And I want you to think about that. Do you think Manchester United has turned a corner or not? Or do you think we've been here before? But whatever you think, please put it in the comments. And please stick around afterwards because I am going to be giving my thoughts on whether or not Manchester United have turned the proverbial corner. But anyway, here's Gary.
So in the last month, United have beaten City, drawn against Liverpool, knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup. I don't want to ask you whether or not are we slightly turning this huge oil tanker around, because I feel like that question's been asked a million times. I guess the question is, over the course of this month, what signs, other than results, what signs have you seen in that month since Amorim, really since the Rashford Garnacho situation actually, what signs have you seen that this is starting to turn under Amorim?
He's been more consistent with his team selection. I think that's absolutely imperative. I think there were certain things, that Newcastle team selection of Casemiro and Eriksen in midfield, and obviously having to correct it and take Zirkzee off. He played Zirkzee off the front in that left sort of pocket position. The back three didn't have any pace. Honestly, I think that was a really difficult team that he picked that day to win that game. So I think he's looked at himself since then. I think he's picked a more consistent 11. And then, to be honest with you, I have to say the Liverpool performance, the level of commitment, the ability to tackle, get to people, actually the confidence on the ball. I don't know what he did between sort of that Newcastle game and the Liverpool game. He had that 5-6 days of working with them, which he asked for. He's had another 5-6 days of working with them. Those 11 players that have taken part, the team that started in the last couple of games, it seems to have settled. He seems to have sort of said, right, this is what I'm going to go with. They've been more committed. They look more settled. But let's not get carried away. I mean, you say is the oil tanker turning. What happens when you set the sort of bar so low and then you improve from that? The standard's here. Where Liverpool and City are, Arsenal are here. What United have got to is there. What United have done is got to here now. So we're still at the base level of, right, they've shown some fight, they look a little bit more organised, they're hanging in there in games. But if you think about what United have done over the last 10 years, these sort of green shoots of recovery that they've displayed at times where they've got decent results and you think, oh, here we go. There's still a long, long way to go. And I don't think Ruben Amorim or the players would say any different. So this is not a time to get carried away. I think it is a time to say, look, it does look like Ruben Amorim's just sort of settled things a little bit in this last couple of weeks. The commitment, the organisation, the consistency of team selection, and that needs to continue now. But they do look a little bit more settled.
And do you think, Gary, the way he has dealt with Rashford, who doesn't look like we're going to see again in a United shirt, the way he dealt with Garnacho, who he sort of punished originally and sort of now is kind of back in, back out, but there are rumours as well about Garnacho. Do you think the way he dealt with those two players, so firm, so decisive, so honest, maybe has... You tell me, being in a dressing room when your manager does that, are you buying in even more to the manager then?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what's happened is the new owners have come in and they've made some real big decisions, not always popular. I think the new managers come in. I think they've got a lot of reference points of what's happened in the last 10 years, trying to sort of placate players, trying to sort of keep them happy, trying to sort of make sure, or give them new contracts, trying to turn them round, thinking they can get more out of them than the last manager. I think what's happening is they're looking at it and thinking, now enough's enough. We have to make to get this cultural change that everyone talks about at Manchester United, to actually enforce that and to actually create it, you're going to have to make massive decisions and make the players, the rest of the club, feel like it's a different club. I think that if you're targeting Rashford and Garnacho, who by everyone's opinion would have been Manchester United's most talented front two at the start of this season, the ones that you would think they would rely upon and say, right, you two are out, I know Garnacho's come back in now. I think he's basically thought, I'm not going to go the same way of the previous managers, and see lack of effort, poor training, poor standards, whatever it is that he feels he's seen, and he's alluded to standards, so I'm not, he's alluded to standards. I think it's got to that point now whereby he's going to go the same way as Ten Hag, same way as Rangnick, same way as Ole, same way as Jose, same way as Lou Van Gaal and Moyes. If he carries on doing the same thing, he's going to have to make some drastic decisions. Garnacho, I think it's been in the news the last 24 hours that bids are coming in for him. There's been news stories about obviously Rashford going on loan or going away to another club. It generally wouldn't surprise me if Ruben Amorim made these big types of calls. I don't think he's got anything to lose. We've seen it all over 10 years whereby these talented players who haven't delivered on a consistent basis will not get Manchester United to the top, that he might just have to target. If you think about what Sir Alex Ferguson did over many, many years, sometimes there's some of the major fallouts he had with the big players, but that was for him to wrestle control. Sometimes it was unfair, sometimes it wasn't, to be fair. He was even a shock to the players that stayed at the club. But if you look back and think that when he first came in, and obviously Norman Whiteside and Paul McGrath were let go in his early days, and then obviously beyond that, Jaap Stam leaving, and David Beckham left, and Roy Keane left, and Ruud van Nistelrooy, massive players that you thought, these players can't leave the club, it's not right. But he did it to wrestle control, whether you liked it or didn't like it, agreed with it or didn't agree with it. And maybe Ruben Amorim has to go basically for the most sort of what would be high profile players and say, I'm in charge here, I don't care who you are, I'm the one that's going to be basically implementing the standards at the football club. And if you don't quite hit them, I don't care how talented you are, how valuable you are, what the fans think of you, what your pay packets are, you're done. And this will be a big transfer window. It might not be as big as we think, but if Garnacho and Rashford were to go, they would be big moves. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a little mini clear out and he brought in one or two players.
Well, I think it's early doors, yeah. I agree with Gary in this instance. We've been here before. There's been times under Jose. There's been times under Ten Hag, Solskjaer, even Van Gaal, not under Moyes or Rangnick, but there has been plenty of times in the past, particularly when a new manager has taken over, where form has gotten better and we've went on a little bit of a run and we think, oh, Man United are back, yay! But then it's nosedived and then the manager's been sacked and all that nonsense in the circus that is Manchester United. But that being said, credit where credit's due. Ruben Amorim, when we play well, Ruben Amorim has got the team playing some really nice football. It's actually quite nice on the eye. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Some of the one-touch passing and the pinging about the ball. Bruno Fernandes has been brilliant in the past few games as well. Some of the goals that we're scoring and the really nice team goals as well. So, I mean, that is really, really nice. And it's actually nice to see a manager implement a nice attacking, entertaining, penetrating style of football. So that is good. That is good. I think Gary makes a point as well, which is what I've been saying since day one with Ruben Amorim. We all know what Man United's best 11 is, but it seems as though Ruben Amorim didn't. So for the first few games, he was playing players that he shouldn't have been playing. Like, i.e. against Newcastle, he was playing Eriksen and Casemiro, midfield with no legs. So... But, we could have told him who his best 11 was. And the two best central midfielders, really, especially on the current form, is Kobbie Mainoo and Ugarte. And Ugarte has been fantastic. in the past couple of games. The hammer has been brilliant. I still think Casemiro's got a role to play in this United team, but it looks like he might be going to Saudi. So hopefully we get a big fee for him so we can invest in the team in a left back like we've been crying out for. But anyway, I digress. So, yeah, now that he seems to have discovered his starting 11, his best 11, performances have started to improve. And the team has just been doing that one thing when they do play that we all wanted them to do from day one, like under all the managers, and that was put the effort in. Put the effort in, because Manchester United haven't had a bad team since Fergie. They haven't, not on paper. I mean, we've had some absolutely world-class players playing for Manchester United between the time Alex Ferguson retired and now. Like Di Maria, you might hate him, but he was an absolutely world-class player. Falcao was a good player as well. Ander Herrera was a good player. David De Gea was world-class. Cristiano Ronaldo came back. You know, he was still excellent, to be fair. Wasn't the player that he was, but he was still excellent. Daley Blind was a good player. You know, we've had lots of good players and in some instances world-class players, but it got to a point with some of them where they just stopped putting the effort in. But that's what's been missing with Manchester United over the course of this past 10 years or so. They put the effort in for a little bit, and then when they do put the effort in, they blitz teams. We get results, we get points, we climb the table, we win competitions. Because, I mean, even though it's been the worst 10 years or so of Man United's history, so to speak, we still have won some trophies. You know, we've won more than Arsenal. And have we won more trophies than Liverpool in the same time period? So we just need the players to put the effort in. If the players put the effort in, then we're all right. We're all right. We'll climb the table. We'll be in top four. And if they consistently put the effort in, and if they play like they did against Liverpool particularly, and they do that against the smaller teams, we'll pick up points and we'll be right behind the Scousers. And it's true. It is. It's true. There's a good team there. There's a talented young team there with Ugarte, with Garnacho, with Højlund, with Mazraoui, Dalot. Martinez is a good player. De Ligt, he's starting to look world class. Who else? We've got Bruno. You know, we need the left back. We definitely need the left back. And I'm not saying that a left back's going to win us the league necessarily, but one man doesn't make a team, but one man can make a difference. And just having a left back just might, I don't know, it just might create an extra 5% of balance in the team that will then allow them to knit everything together and play even better as a team and then beat teams more easily. Because that does happen. I mean, look what happened at Man City when you take Rodri out of the team. Everything's went down the toilet, Look at what happened when Liverpool bought Van Dijk, a defender. They ended up going on and winning the Champions League and the league because that one player knitted that team together. Eric Cantona famously was the final piece of the puzzle. The final piece of the puzzle doesn't always have to be the sexiest player who scores the goals. It can just be someone that adds a little bit of nuance and balance to a team that allows the rest of the team, because it is a team game, to flourish, so there is that. I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but when something comes to the Big D's mind, he likes to express himself. But yeah, it's too early to say, just to bring this back on point, it's too early to say things have turned the corner, but things do look positive. And I saw that Ruben Amorim said that he'll know more about whether the team is ticking along by when we play Southampton on Thursday and Brighton at the weekend. Because in those games, Manchester United are expected to win, and this is what I've been saying. Can we transfer the effort and the form from the Man City, the Liverpool, and the Arsenal game to the games where we're expected to win? Because it's easy to be motivated for the big games, but the true champions motivate themselves for the smaller games as well. So I'm really looking forward to the Southampton game, just to see if the penny has indeed dropped. A little mini clear out. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I can see, well, Rashford's obviously out the door, thankfully. I can see Casemiro going. I can't see Casemiro and Eriksen going because that would leave us a little bit thin in midfield. But I can certainly see one of them go, particularly Casemiro, because he still has the most value, especially in Saudi. So if we get his 400k a month or whatever it is off the wage bill, and maybe get 30 million fee. I don't know how much we'd get, but get something from the Saudis because money's no object to those guys. So that would be a nice little injection into the war chest. I can see them. I can see him going and Rashford. I can't see Garnacho going. I can't see him going. Can't see it. I hope he doesn't, because the jury's still out on him. He's not finished. He's done all right the past couple of games. Now that he's seen that his mate Rashford is out the door for behaviour that's quite similar to his own. So maybe that'll book his ideas up and force him to, put the effort in. I'm going to change the name of the Big D's channel to Put the Effort In _ because that needs emblazoned at Carrington, certainly. Who else can I see going if indeed they go? I can't see Cobby going. There's no way Cobby's going. No way. All that business about him being available for transfer, that's just a negotiation tactic on Manchester United's front. And they have proven to be expert negotiators because we did have a good window in the summer. We got Xerxes for a snip. We got Ugarte for a snip. And we also got Delict for a snip. And we negotiated hard with Ugarte in particular as well. They wanted a lot more money than what we were prepared to pay. But we ended up getting our man. So I think that's just a negotiation tactic with regards to Cobby Mainoo. It's just ridiculous. You just wouldn't. It would be like Barcelona trying to sell, like saying they're going to sell Lamal. Not saying Cobby Mainoo's as good as Lamal necessarily, but Lamal is as valuable to Barcelona as what Cobby Mainoo is to Manchester United. So I just can't see it. Anyone else? No, I think Maguire's just had his contract extended, if I'm not mistaken. So it's nice to see Harry Maguire earn a little bit of redemption. He got a nice standing ovation or round of applause from in the last match. So that was nice to see. But yeah, no, I can't see too many people going. So Rashford, Casemiro, for sure. And Eriksen might go. It just all depends on who United bring in. Because if we get a nice bit of, a nice chunk of change from those guys, then that could free up some cash to buy. So we would definitely buy a left back, at least one, and then maybe a striker. But if Casemiro and Eriksen go, we'd need to get a midfielder as well. But I don't know. Maybe they've got a nice little short list of astute signings, which seems to be the order of the day after the transfer window last year. So that's good. That's good. That would be a nice step forward. But yeah. So in conclusion, the Big D would say there are some positives. Definitely some positives. And they are at least looking entertaining. The effort seems to be there at the moment. Let's hope they maintain. Let's hope we have a nice transfer window and then see where we go from there. And let's see how we go against Southampton and Brighton. And the Big D's going to the Brighton match. And the Big D's swithering whether or not to go to the Rangers match next Thursday. Battle of Britain. If you think the Big D should go, put it in the comments. Anyway, If you've come this far, you're clearly interested in what the Big D's got to say, and because of that, the Big D is more than interested in what you have got to say. So, what do you think? Should the Big D go to the Glasgow Rangers game? And also, do you think Manchester United has turned a corner? If so, why? If not, tell me why. You know where to put it, and I'll see you in the next one.